Good evening, everybody. My name is Karen Bateson, and I am zooming in, and I have the honor to be here with you to host Wellness Wednesday. I love that we are here together to learn about something that's a little bit outside the box, something we're not really used to, and that's taking care of ourselves in a more natural way. And it's taking it. What we've done on this project is we've really simplified something that could be that's been used for years and years and years, and that's food is new. That's just simplified food to improve our health. And so what we've done tonight is we have for you an esteemed Dr. Jeremy, and I'll tell you a little bit about him in a second. But also what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a series of products that are really real food, but we've married it with real absorption, so we're getting real results. And that is what's really fun about this, is that it's just using the right ingredients in the right way with a formulator who is doing things that just haven't been done. And so Dr. Jeremy's going to explain that. But each product that we talk about this evening, we're also going to have a testimonial from somebody who's actually using the product and is hearing the and is having the results that you might need, might want, might have. So that's what we're going to do. So what I would like to do this evening is explain a little bit, because as you're hearing these, there are two ways to get these products. One way is a retail cost, and the other way is a wholesale cost. So keep that in mind, because somebody invited you tonight and somebody brought you here because they care enough about you that they want you to feel better, look better, and just be better, because the community is amazing as well. So what we can do is I am going to tell you that Dr. Jeremy is has a PhD in biochemistry, because why not? And also molecular biology. I can barely say it, let alone get a degree in it, but he has it. That's why he's here. He is funded by NASA to investigate how proteins change in microgravity space. And then he's also a bodybuilder and loves to run marathons. So he's a little crazy. No, I'm just kidding. And also, he's married to a professional acrobat and Pilates instructor. Okay, that one I did not know. So we are always learning about each other on a regular basis. So, Dr. Jeremy, I would love for you to share with us about just a little bit of an overview about what we're going to hear before we get into individual products.
Yeah, sure. I've been a guinea pig for a lot of supplements and foods out there. I think anyone that starts working out, attempts to find ways to take shortcuts, or you start paying attention more to your food, and I carry that through college degrees, PhD. Now I'm doing a postdoc. And ultimately what I'm wanting to do is just take all that knowledge that I have and these big fancy words and just try to condense it down into a way where it makes sense, right? Where anyone can understand it, anyone can use it. And so I like to use analogies. But the takeaway really is that food has a tremendous amount of benefit, right? We eat for replacement parts, but every single food that we eat has some sort of influence on the body, right? And and the idea is that take traditional foods for example. You look at a food like uh, let's say steak and rosemary and potato. Steak has a lot of iron, and when you sear it, you create carcinogens. But when you pair that with rosemary, the compounds in the rosemary mitigate those carcinogenic effects, and then all that iron is the absorption is slowed down by the potato. Especially if you eat the meat and any vegetables first and let the potato cool down, it becomes resistant starch. So now it's binding onto that iron and slowing down its absorption, and then it's not having the same insulin spike. Right? The same goes for Italian food, for Indian food, for tacos, right? All of these traditional, like culturally rich foods have this combination where you're getting a better absorption, you're getting more nutrients in, you're slowing down any potential deleterious effects that come from consuming different types of food. Because if you think about it, plants don't want to be eaten. Plants produce all kinds of stuff to make you not want to eat them, right? Even green tea and black tea prevent iron absorption. So finding supplements on the market that have actually thought about, okay, well, if I mix this and this together, are they synergistic or are they competing? Okay, they're synergistic. Okay, well, what if I add this in? Or what if I add that in? And some supplements just like to pour everything into one container, but now you're telling your body to heal and to move faster and to calm down and do this and do this. And it's like you got the gas and the brake on, and it's just chaos. So that's one thing that I've really come to like about the way that these supplements and put together. And the way I'm going to explain them today is it's like a neighborhood, right? So everyone's familiar with the neighborhood. You've got a street or a parking lot right out front, and then that allows you to take your trash right out front, and then it disappears. Someone comes and picks it up. When you need nutrients, when you need food, you can just drive right up to your front door or have it delivered. Boom, you've got it. This is just like our circulatory system and our lymphatic system and our fascia system. But it's different inside of our body because not every single cell has access to the circulatory system or the lymphatic system or is connected to a nerve ending. And this is why cell to cell communication is so incredibly important. Because if insulin or glucagon, which is what's produced from GLP-1, binds to a cell, then that cell has to communicate to the cell next to it, to the cell next to it, to the cell next to it, to the cell next to it. Hey, sugar's on its way. Hey, here's adrenaline. We're all going to do something. We're all going to run from a danger. So if your cells can't communicate with the cell next to it, well, now you've got this whole breakdown. Have any of you ever been in a group of people and communication breaks down? Yeah, it's chaotic, it's inflammatory, right? And so think about this. When a cell becomes cancerous and then it starts to grow and then it goes through angiogenesis, that means it's growing a new blood vein to it. So it has access. It's building a road to get access to nutrients. That cell first had to lose communication with its environment before it started doing something outside of what all the cells are around it doing. When a cell becomes inflamed, it's kind of like a balloon, it blows up. And now all the cells are pushing on each other and they can't properly communicate. So you've got a lower inflammation, which is like fixing the fences. So now you've got all these neighbors that are next to each other. And since you've got to walk through everyone's yard to get to the next cell, by lowering inflammation, you're allowing that path to exist. So anytime there's inflammation, cells can't talk. Cells can't talk, they can't get nutrients. If they can't get nutrients, bad stuff starts to happen. Then you get sick or life gets busy, and whatever happens, stress arises, and they can't push back because they don't know what's going on in the environment. So when you eat foods that support cellular communication, everything in the body starts to work better because the cells can do what they want to do, which is talk to each other. So that's the template I want to use as we go through some of these different food-based supplements and kind of why they work.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Your analogies always like make me feel smarter because I understood that. Like I got it. Like it helps me so much understand what we're doing. I could just listen to you all the time. So we're gonna jump right in because we want to honor time and we've got a lot to get through, but I want to start with the Vitalité. So this is the Vitalité, and you can see here it's 5. There's so many nutrients in this that it takes 5 pills. And so what we have is a prebiotic, a probiotic, a fruit, a superfood, and that orange pill is an omega. And so this is just an amazing, your basic phytonutrients for the entire day. So it is energy, it is no filler, so you can take it on an empty stomach. So huge in the intermittent fasting world. And it is just there are days that I'll stick it in my pocket instead of taking it in the morning, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'll tell you what, I can't remember what I walked into the room with if I forget this for more than one day. So it's helping my
This,
brain
this
too.
is
So tell me why.
so this one's really nice because it's derived from a food source, right? So you can go lick rust all day long. That iron's never going to get in your body. Anytime that we eat something like spinach that has iron in it, it's already chelated to something, it's bound to something. And then we just transfer that metal from one place to another until it ends up in our blood or wherever it's going to go. And it's like that for calcium, for all the minerals. And our body needs minerals for our proteins to function. If you don't have enough of like iodine, your thyroid doesn't work. If you don't have enough selenium, then you become more insulin resistant. If you don't have enough chromium, you're insulin resistant. You need selenium to make new white blood cells, but you get them from food. So what this set of vitamins and minerals, they derive them from food sources, right? This could be yeast, algae, plant. So that way, when you get it, it's already mimicking a food. And that's why people can take it on an empty stomach, because it's just like you're taking it from a food. Again, vitamins bind to proteins and help them function. Proteins will have a mineral that sits in the middle, and that's what allows it to function. So if you don't have enough vitamins or you don't have enough minerals, the proteins can't do their job. If you have a gene mutation, that means none of the proteins are capable of doing their job. If you're short on vitamins and minerals, that means some of the proteins aren't going to be able to work. And that's why taking your vitamins and minerals or eating the right types of foods that have those in can benefit you. The other thing is that some of those vitamins are fat soluble. So if you pair it with like a fish oil, like is in this supplement, then you're complementing that absorption. The other thing is that this one's got omega 3, 6, 7, and 9. Omega 3 is getting a lot of praise and omega 6 is getting a lot of rap, but every one of your cell membranes have all of the omega 3s in it. Oh, sorry, I got a dog walking around. Omega 7 is particularly good at healing the gut barrier, right? So it's not just that you're getting in the phytonutrients, you're also getting in the other compounds that you need to make the proteins to make the body work properly. So I really think this one's very foundational because it gives the cell what it needs to do whatever it is it's going to do. Digest, sleep, energy, exercise, think, neurotransmit. It needs those minerals and vitamins and compounds in order to do that. And then the plants or the herbs that are in there support your body's own natural communication, where you consume a fiber and a protein and you make your own GLP-1. When you exercise and you produce your own nitric oxide, you can produce your own vitamin K, and it increases vitamin D activity when you're in the sun. And so it's designed at helping change the trajectory of your cell. And they've done the epigenetic studies to show this. When you take Vitalité and some of the other products and you add them into cells, you can see that the epigenetic profile changes. So that means when you quit taking the product, your cells are now better off and they're doing more healthy like stuff, even though you're not adding something in every single day. So if you miss it a day or two or whatever, like you're still in a better trajectory than you were. And again, there's so many supplements out there that are trash. They're just trying to get your money. So it's beautiful to see someone that's actually thinking about, okay, we need them to absorb. Once they're absorbed, we need them to actually do what they're supposed to do in the body, and they need to be synergistic. So this one to me is foundational. Uh, but with that, we've got a testimonial.
We do have a testimonial, and Kathy, we would love for you to share.
Hi, I'm Kathy calling in from Blackfoot, Idaho. Happy to be here. When I went to was first introduced to these products, I was told, yeah, this foundational product is one that if you don't do anything else, at least do that one. And the Purify as well was really important for me. So for me, taking it in the morning, of course, I experimented with it quite a bit in the beginning. I didn't know when to take it, but I was told the best time to take the product is when you remember to take the product. But I've gotten really good about remembering to take it in the morning, and it has helped with the GLP-1. When I was told about the epigenetic studies and realizing that it's a replacement for synthetic shots that my doctor was encouraging me to get on to lose weight. Well, I've lost 30 pounds now just with these products, and more motivated to exercise and eating better and eating less. And just it's the synergistic effect that it has had on my life has been phenomenal. So I am really grateful for this product.
Yeah, that's also, I didn't even mention like BDNF, which drives new neurons, which makes you, when you start doing something new and you feel good about it, you make new neurons. And that's a compound that helps support that. It also helps reduce inflammation. So now you're not as sore. It's easier to have, You don't need the same amount of willpower to get up and do stuff. So it makes exercise easier. And then once you get the ball rolling, then it's a feedback effect. And again, the body wants to work. It wants to be healthy. It wants to hang out with all the bacteria in our gut, and they all want to be buddies. But if they don't have the tools they need, they can't build, they can't function. And you have to get minerals from your diet. And if you're eating a bunch of junk that's not helping communication between the cells, your neighbor's going to start hating each other. And that just seems like chaos. So if all your neighbors are growing their gardens and everyone's good when it comes harvest time, life's good. Look at that. They got the tools they need. So, yeah, simple.
I love it. I love it. It just is fantastic. So real quick, I want to mention we do have a skincare line. And so it is something that we're not going to cover at length tonight, but the person that invited you will happily explain. But the one that I love, well, I love it all, I'm not gonna lie, but we have a skin serum that is called a neurocosmetic, and it is one of a kind because we found a skin-brain connection, and our formulator actually discovered a molecule in the Mojave Desert that takes that molecule to your brain when you use the serum on your face, and it increases your dopamine. It makes you feel better because when you look better, you feel better. But there's also a toner and a cleanser, and then also a moisturizer. And I am 85 years. No, I'm just kidding. So yes, but it's a great thing to learn about. But tonight we're going to stick with our wellness products. So next we have our Collagéne. Collagéne is a great product because we've done things. What I love to explain, and you'll expand on this, but the collagen molecules, like us eating a watermelon, is that right? And so we've kind of micronized it instead of trying to bite that watermelon for ourselves. And that's how that's my very basic explanation. So now you can go into science side.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so when I was funded by NASA, we were looking at how proteins, particularly the cytoskeleton, like collagen, your actin, the whole cytoskeleton network, changes in space. It turns out that when gravity is pushing down, I'm walking again, that our body builds, it pushes back up. So when you have no gravity, your collagen system all breaks down really, really, really quick. And what collagen is a long polymer. I say long, but it's long for a cell where it expands the entirety of a cell. So you can think of if you had a rope that went from your front door to your back door, and you'd have multiple ropes, kind of like the 2x4s that are in your house that are holding everything up. That's what your collagen system is. Your collagen system also builds up your fascia. So anyone that's ever seen a cat jump up real fast out of nowhere, that's their fascia, right? Muscles push, provide force. Your bones hold. Your fascia system is what allows you to catch yourself if you're going to fall off a curb. If you skip a step and you catch yourself, if you go to drop something and you grab it real quick, that's your fascia. That's collagen. And as we age, we break it down. As we go through periods of time where we're not getting enough protein, our body liquefies our muscle and our collagen to get the amino acids it needs to build the proteins to digest our food, to help us go to sleep, to help us wake up, all the stuff that our body does. So if you're not getting enough collagen in and getting enough protein in, then your body's going to liquefy that to get the building blocks, the amino acids. So with collagen, it's also like melatonin and other products where as you continue to take them, your body quits making it. I've never seen another brand that says, hey, we're just going to give you a 10-day supply of high dose collagen. It's absorbed. It has the vitamin C, the biotin, the hyaluronic acid, all these other compounds that help your body turn what's digested back into collagen. We're going to add it all in, but only for 10 days. Because if you take it every single day, your body's going to turn off its own production of collagen. And now you're dependent on taking this compound. It's kind of how the pharmaceutical industry works and how any other brand of collagen protein powder I've ever seen. They're like, take a scoop every single day, every time. This is saying, no, we know it turns off gene regulation because we've done the epigenetic studies. So you take it for 10 days, you build up, you're going to build something. You've got to get all the materials into one place, and then you can build. If you just keep dumping materials in, you're going to cut off all your communication to get new materials in because you've got too much and you start using it for other stuff. So with this one, it's high dose, it's a fluid, so it has a higher absorption. And yeah, collagen's a long polymer. Our body has to break that down. And most of us don't have the enzymes, the proteases to break it down enough to get it absorbed. So here it's already chopped up, it's already really small, and then they've added in all the biological components that are needed in the cell so you can put it all back together. So again, it's being absorbed, it's being put back together, you're making new collagen, and then you're not turning off your body's own production. So to me, it's a no-brainer, right? I don't want to fall and twist my ankle. I want to be able to catch stuff when I go to drop it. It makes me feel cool, and I don't want to get hurt. So yeah, collagen's important. And really the next best place to get it is bone broth. But a lot of the bone broth out there in the market's also trash. So yeah, if you can just get it from a good source where it's all already together, it just makes sense, at least to me. So,
Why I love our formulator, because he knows all the pieces to put together and he did it
yeah,
for us. Made it
yeah,
simple. I love it.
yeah. Yeah, it's
So we
nice
do
we get
have a
a scientist making products instead of someone in marketing making products. Yeah. So yeah.
crazy talk, Dr. Jeremy, crazy talk. So we do have a testimonial this evening, all the way from Canada. Miss Lindsay, I would love for you to share with us.
Thanks, Karen. Actually want to share a testimony on the collagen for my husband. He about 20 years ago, he was in his 20s, got a couple whiplash injuries. And so going through the years, seeing some chiropractors, lots of massage, trying to just keep him maintained when he has long drives for work or has to do some computer stuff. He will get really sore in his neck muscles, shoulders. I don't know. He just gets a lot of headaches. And so, yeah, kind of just been kind of on a maintenance schedule of regular massage and once in a while see the chiropractor to keep his C-spine where he's had that inflammation and those injuries in from getting bad on him. And turned out that a couple weeks ago, for a while, his massage lady was not available. She was injured. So he was without his regular maintenance. And he was starting to go back into his routine of like popping the Advil and the Tylenol and just like super sore. He had a lot of work driving to do and had a couple bad sleeps. And then I know he's doing really bad when he's got to start taking some like the muscle relaxers, right? Like and just grouchy. And he was starting his collagen. He did his collagen 10-day cycle and I thought, you know what? He hasn't been in see the massage and all this and it's not gonna hurt. I'm gonna put him like give him another uh cycle of the collagen and just see, right? Because of what I've heard on some of the Wellness Wednesdays. And so I just gave him an extra one or whatever. Like he did another cycle over 10 days. And yeah, and he still hasn't had a massage and it's been like over 2 months now. But he hasn't been reaching for the Advil Tylenol. He hasn't been um needing that Robaxacet and he's been not complaining of headaches or sore shoulders or sore neck. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. I really feel it was the collagen, just that oomph, right? Like to get him through that crappy spell and maybe is what he needed to kind of just boost whatever was going on there. So I love experimenting on my family, and that's my testimony. So thank you guys.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, our head is quite heavy. So, sometimes you just sleep wrong and you're like, really, that's all it took? Um, But yeah, so giving your body that all that strength back, it makes sense. And again, we know that high doses regularly can turn off gene expression, but it takes a while, right? So if you get some extra, like it's fine, like if you eat bone broth every day for the entire winter, like you're gonna be okay. We just know that you don't want to become dependent on something. That's not the point. And it's nice because this is all just food.
Yeah,
Like
that's
the
what I
collagen's
thought
derived
too.
from food, and all the vitamins and minerals are just food. So
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And I thought, if he just needs this extra, his body needs something extra, it's not going to hurt him.
yeah, I mean, if you think
And
about it, we've got trillions of cells in our body. So like it does take a little while to get magnesium or vitamin C or whatever you need back into every one of those cells. Because other than our red blood cells, they all have DNA. They're all doing tons of work. And if you've gone years and years without something, then yeah, you start taking a supplement. It's good. It's got stuff in it. You're going to kind of feel it right away. But then, you still have to replete all of your trillions of cells, and you can't do that in a day. So yeah, but for sake of time, I know I'm super yappy, but let's the next one.
Yes, and the collagen, I also love the tendon because I feel like my gut health is the best. Don't you?
Yeah, yeah,
So
so much.
I always have to mention that because, yeah, that
Yeah.
is the best. Yeah. So, okay, yes, you're correct, though. We do have to move on. So we have what was affectionately called the footballs or the magic beans, which is Revive, is our next anti-inflammatory product, which I just love to. When I heard it was called the footballs, it just cracked me up because it's football. We love football, so it is one of those things. But this one is near and dear to my heart because my husband has become not dependent, but he uses this when his back ties up after 30 years on his feet in different industries instead of random prescription drugs that, or anything else. So tell us
Well,
why, Dr.
yeah.
Joey.
So again, I plan on eating food the rest of my life. So if I'm going to take something, a product, it should be my food, right? And then your food influences your body. So with this, turmeric is great, but it has a very, very poor absorption. It doesn't like water. It doesn't like it's kind of a big compound. It doesn't really get into the circulatory system well. So by pairing it, with ginger and black pepper and some other compounds, you're getting it in. And then it's also paired with boswellia and then black seed cumin oil and then these other compounds that are all supporting inflammation. So back to this idea of cell to cell communication, cells are touching and they have all these proteins that connect them. But what happens is when you get inflamed, things swell. So think about when you get a cut or you've twisted your ankle or you've bruised something, right? It always swells up at first. That's like a balloon. It's now pushing away. So all those little proteins that were connecting the two cells, they're not connecting anymore. So now you have cells that are building up metabolic waste products. You have cells that are damaged, and there's all this DNA and other issues that are occurring, and it can't get what it needs to fix the job, right? A tree fell on my house and I can't get a chainsaw. I can't even get a handsaw. Like I don't have what I need to mitigate this. My heater went out in the middle of winter. Like I'm too far away from my neighbors to get over there, right? So inflammation is literally at the cause of all illness, right? Even if you exercise too hard, your body becomes inflamed, and that inflammation is needed to kickstart the process of biological repair and recovery and help. But then the inflammation's supposed to come down. And if we're constantly battling and stressing and doing all these things that life kind of requires of us, we're building that inflammation back up. So having a food-based product that we know is absorbed that helps with that inflammation to not only reduce the pain so life sucks less, but then also allows us to heal and recover faster and lets our cells communicate with each other, then we're now mitigating future problems. So yeah, this one's nice and it helps repair the gut barrier. It doesn't damage your liver. It doesn't damage your kidneys, right? There's all this news stuff going on about Tylenol and glutathione and all this. And yeah, when you take things like Tylenol and acetaminophen, like ibuprofen, it turns off the pain communication pathway. When you turn that off, your body then doesn't release its glutathione and its other anti-inflammatory properties. So then the cells remain inflamed and then they can't detox, they can't do their stuff. With this, with the Revive, it's sending in anti-inflammatory compounds. So it's going in and it's helping. And by fixing the problem, it lowers the pain versus taking a Tylenol or an ibuprofen where it just turns off the pain, but the problem still exists. So again, to me, this one makes sense. It, allows you to talk to your neighbors more effectively by reducing that inflammation, right? Resolves conflict.
And we do have a testimonial, but real quick, I would like to mention at this point that we have these products that are so amazing that also they're published in the PDR, which is the Physician's Digital Reference, which is where your doctor will go to look up anything to help them. And so we are really the only nutraceutical company that has almost all of their products, 98% of our products in that PDR. And so if you go to your doctor and they prescribe an anti-inflammatory, you might want to ask them to look at Revive in that PDR and say, maybe can I try this first and see what this says. So with that, I just want to make sure that we throw that in there. This is a good one because I know that this is, it's a good place to put it. But Ray, testimonial.
Hey, Ray Kuhn, Nampa, Idaho. And I'm pretty excited to share this story with you. This has been my experience and my wife also. So real quick, she woke up a few weeks ago with a bug bite right on her cheekbone, and it was very inflamed, very painful. She took her normal morning dose, which is 2. And I told her, you can take more than that because I've been listening to the Wellness Wednesday calls. So she took 4 more for a total of 6. And then she did the same thing the next day. And on day 3, she woke up, inflammation was gone, pain was gone. And she was a little concerned because we're having a little surprise party for her that day. And so she was worried that she would have this gross thing in the pictures. So that was my wife. And then myself, weeks ago, I had woken up on a Friday morning and I had this crick in my neck. And I've not had neck issues in years. And so I called my chiropractor. She was on an extended weekend vacation. So I had to call my backup guy and he was booked. So I got on the overflow list. So I went ahead and I took 6 that Friday morning. Saturday morning, woke up, took 6 more, confirmed I was still on the overflow list, didn't get a call. Sunday morning, woke up, pain gone. And I thought, this is amazing. It saved me $50 from having to go see my chiropractor. Then just a couple weeks ago, we were at a amusement park and I got a little whiplash on one of the water rides. It stopped way faster than I was expecting it to. And because of my experience with the crick in my neck, I took 6 there at the park and it did not ruin my day at the amusement park. So it's amazing stuff. And you can take, 6, 8 of them if you need to. And man, it works so great. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, turmeric's the main component in a lot of Indian food. It's what gives it that nice, vibrant, orange color. But I don't know how many people just carry around, some tiki masala in a bag in their pocket for whenever they need it, compared to, just 6 of the Revive. So yeah, it's the same. Like I'll train too hard. I've got a really bad habit of that. I'm like, no, I can do a couple more. I'll do another mile. I'll do this, and then I come home and I'm like, man, I did it again. And yet Revive has saved me many times where I'm like, oh no, I still have all this I've got to do. Like, okay, and then again, it's for me when I take the Revive, it doesn't turn the pain off as quick as if I were to take an ibuprofen, but it's stopping the swelling, it's stopping the inflammation, it's fixing the problem, it's not turning the pain off. And by fixing the inflammation, then your body can naturally turn the pain receptors off because the inflammation's gone down. So again, you're fixing the problem. You're not just putting a piece of tape over the leak and being like, "Oh, it leaks less now." So yeah, Revive.
Right.
Awesome. And it's just food. So.
Yeah, it is just being. I will be taking extra tonight because I just started back at the gym and had jello legs.
Leg day.
Purify. I'll tell you what. The air we breathe, the deodorants we use, the everything that we do, shampoos, laundry detergent, all these are putting things into our body that we just, your body's a machine and it needs to be cleansed. And so our Purify is that cleansing daily, that's not something that's going to put you uncomfortably in a situation, but cleansing very gently on a daily basis. And so tell us a little bit about that, Dr. Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm kind of ambivalent with the heavy cleanses because when you start pumping in fiber and activated charcoal and all these other compounds that cleanse your body, they also bind to your trace minerals. They grab your selenium and your iodine. I mean, even just taking a hot shower, if your water is heavily chlorinated, will pull iodine out of your thyroid, right? These heavy metals, they bind to, not heavy metals, but these trace minerals, they'll bind to proteins, but they're intended to be a little transient, to kind of go where the chemistry needs them to go. So when you do a heavy cleanse, a heavy detox, you're pulling out a lot of that good stuff too. And if you're not putting that stuff back in, then now your proteins can't work. 20 plus years ago, all those minerals were in our soil. So it just by default was in our food. But that's not the case today. So what I like about Purify is it's just like taking the trash out, right? When the trash is full, you just pull the bag out, you push it down, and then you take it out. And so there's 5 different compounds that target different organs, right? Specifically your lungs, your skin, your kidneys, your colon, and your liver. So it specifically has compounds that go in and then grabs those waste products that came from the makeup, from the air, from the exhaust, from whatever it is that shouldn't have been there in the first place. And it chelates it. And then I like to take this at night because that's when your body does its normal detox anyways. So now, just like I was saying, you've got all these houses that aren't connected to the lymphatic system. Well, the Purify goes in and it goes house to house and it says, hey, collecting your trash, and then it carries it all back. So then as your body's doing what it normally does at night, you're just clearing all the gunk out. And then it's got a little bit of fiber in it, just so it kind of adds it into the process for the next day, versus it coming out. So to me, it doesn't interrupt anything I was already doing. But it definitely is pulling out those heavy metals and those metabolic processes and then just the waste from our environment. And even if you're one of the healthiest people in the world, each of our cells is a combustion engine. We break bonds and we make water and CO2. It's combustion. But that process is not 100% efficient. So we make little mistakes and compounds that aren't complete combustion that are now waste products. And we have to get those out every single day. So instead of doing a heavy cleanse once a year where you're losing a bunch of good stuff, just take the trash out when it starts to smell bad, right? Just take care of it every day. To me, it's just much better maintenance. It makes way more sense. And there's some foods that are good at this too, like cilantro. If you like tacos, man, put all the cilantro you can on there because it helps pull out those heavy metals, but it doesn't do it from all of your organs and all your tissues, right? It just kind of does it through the digestive tract. Whereas like the mullein and the other compounds that are in this, like it's specific to each tissue type. Which, why would you only clean one room of your house if you've got company coming over? So move on to the testimonial.
Yes, Judy, tell us about Purify from your perspective.
Hello, my name is Judy Baggett, and I'm from St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. And Purify for me means regularity. I used to keep a bag of prunes in my house all the time because when it wasn't working right, you take prunes. Well, I don't even have them in the house anymore. I don't need them because the Purify keeps me regular all the time. And I'm really happy knowing that that it's getting rid of the heavy metals and everything else. But the other testimony is my husband, as some of you know, is in a long-term care facility, and their policy is every day to make sure that every one of the residents has a laxative so that they keep them regular. And, I have just said to them, that doesn't include my husband. Don't give him any laxatives because he's going to be regular with what I'm giving him. And you know what? at first they kind of, I don't know if that's right. But I said, okay, if he has to go a few days without, then give it to him. But if he doesn't, I don't want them to have any more laxatives. And you know what? They haven't had to give him any because he is regular and he isn't walking. So he is all the time either in a chair or in a bed. So to me, Purify it's keeping the synthetics and the junk out of his body. So
I love
thank
that
you.
because my whole MO, I mean, I've got a YouTube channel. I talk about this, my wife loves and hates it, where it tends to come up in almost any conversation. I somehow get on health. And a lot of this stuff should be common knowledge. But it's not, because our medical schools don't teach nutrition. They don't teach supplements. They don't teach about food. So you have all these people that have big hearts that want to help that don't have the tools for it. So by you telling the people at the nursing, hey, no, there's a better alternative. There's something else to do. That's how you make it common knowledge, by spreading it and just showing that there's a better way to do it. And again, with the laxative, you're losing water, you're losing a lot of salts, you're losing a lot of other electrolytes. Like it's not good. So, so thank you for being persistent and doing that. Definitely appreciate
Yes, 100%. That is awesome. So let's our next product. Kids are back in school. The petri dishes are coming home with the kids, and we've got to take care of ourselves so we can take care of our families. And even, I know that Judy's around a lot of people when she visits her husband, and just these seasons are coming upon us. And so Imúne is helping us with our adaptive and innate immune system. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So, the old saying, sucking on a silver spoon, this compound does have a little silver in it. It also has compounds like selenium, which are necessary for you to make your own white blood cells. That has compounds in it that help your body produce its natural antibodies, and it helps it produce its natural killer T cells. So you want your white blood cells, they're like your security system, they're kind of looking around, making sure everything's okay. But then when stuff really starts to rev up, you want to have that more active, you want to call in the Marines, you want to call in, police, someone to come in and actually deal with the issue. And so what Imúne's doing is it's giving your body the extra vitamin D, it's giving it the extra minerals and all the things that your body needs to support an active immune system. But it's not turning the immune system on to 100% all the time. It's just providing the raw materials that are needed so that your body can regulate it in its own way. I got a lot of dogs walking around. So yeah, we'll move on to the testimonial. But again, it's you could put the Imúne and the Purify and the multivitamin, all these products together at the same time, but your neighborhood only has so many people living in it. Your cell can only do so much. And if it's trying to fight off with the immune system and then it's got all these other things that it's doing, it's just not going to work. So that's why I love that they've separated these out to where you can take it when you need it. But some people that know that they're teachers or they're around kids a lot, they can take it more often as a maintenance. And again, because it's food, you can use it for that. So
I
yeah,
love
we'll
it when I
move on.
travel. Take a little extra when you're getting on that plane. So yes, we'd love to hear from Glenn. Glenn, tell us about Imúne.
Thank you so much, Karen and Dr. Jeremy, for letting me be on this webinar and share my experience with Imúne. For those that don't know who I am, I'm Glenn Price from Eagle Mountain, Utah. So I love Imúne because it has so many benefits. It's helped me in a lot of ways. For me personally, it's eased my heartburn and acid reflux disease. It's helped me in my allergies, in reducing those. And it even helps me from protecting from relatives that have sickness that likes to, share, they like to share. And so just a couple of weeks ago, I had a brother that came down with, came down sick, and we had an event that we were supposed to attend to. And for him to actually say, I can't go to that event and give up his tickets, I met up with him, and instead of him sharing his sickness with me, I decided to share some Imúne with him. And I told him, I don't know if this will work for you, but this is what I do when I know that I need to boost up my immune system. Is I take more, and so I told him, I says, why don't you? I'm going to give you 12, and in the next 3 days, take 4 each day, and then call me back and let me know. And so at the end of the week, he called me up and he said he was his energy was back and doing really well. He's a FedEx driver, so that's important for him to actually have that energy. But anyway, for me, Imúne truly delivers a lot. It has incredible value. It is convenient, and it is a powerful little product. And so thank you so much for letting me share.
Yeah, I like to think of this as my chicken noodle soup in a pill. Um, because it's got all the stuff in it, right? When you start to get sick, right? The beauty of chicken noodle soup is it has all these compounds in it that help support your immune system, right? Especially if it's made with bone broth, so it's got all these minerals and all this other stuff with it. But with Imúne, you just take a couple pills. Again, you don't have to carry soup around in your pocket or in a thermos. It's still beneficial, if you eat it in adjacent to, but um, again, each of these they're all food, so they're all already attainable, but it's put together in a way that we know it's absorbing and we know it's working. And I could go into the science all day, but like I love these testimonials because it's like, yeah, like you mentioned with the acid reflux, right? Like, yeah, your body will fight back if it's trying to fight something off, right? You've got these bile acids and all the acid, from the heavy chloride that's your body will use acid to fight off bad stuff. So if it's trying to pull from your stomach acid and put it somewhere else, and that means you're creating a permeability where now you're trying to pull acid from, or lots of hydrogen from your stomach, so your other cells can use it to fight something off. Well, now you're like poking little holes and you're making a mess. So now you've got more reflux, you've got more inflammation there. Whereas if the immune system just had the tools that it needed, it wouldn't have to go steal it from somewhere else. So yeah, it's again, when you give your body the ability to communicate with itself, lots of things just start working better. So
We're just machines. We have to keep running well. We maintain our car and we forget to maintain our bodies. That's crazy. So our next product is, because I got to sit here and listen to you for like 3 hours, but we're going to honor. So you notice that the Vitalité comes in pills, and they're different color, different shapes, different sizes. Our collagen is a liquid. There's different types of delivery systems for each of our products, because what Dr. Dan did is he made whatever ingredients deliver best to our body, and that's how they're delivered to us. So this is another liquid, and I hope that made sense, but no, I was trying to say, I don't know if it worked very well. But Eternal is another liquid. You just tear off the top. Our collagen is also a liquid, and you drink it up, and this is just anti-aging in a packet, in my opinion, but that is just something, that's just my opinion. That's not my official, doctor or anything, but it keeps me moving. So tell me why, Dr. Jeremy. Dr. Sabo, it works also, but you're Dr.
yeah,
Jeremy.
Jeremy, it's fine. This one probably is one of my favorites because I think the mitochondria in our cell is really the brains of the operation. We have our DNA, that's grandma's cookbook, that's telling us which recipes to make. But the mitochondria is really flipping the pages to tell us which recipes to make. The mitochondria drives autophagy. The mitochondria makes the majority of our inflammatory compounds. Your mitochondria is what drives controlled cell death, which not only fights off cancer, but also helps your sunburn all communicate in a way to where all the skin kind of comes off at the same time. It's controlled, it's organized. Your mitochondria makes your precursors for neurotransmitters, your cholesterol, the heme in your blood. It does all of these functional things. And your mitochondria's master antioxidant is glutathione. But your glutathione's made in your liver. And as we consume high sugar diets, as we age, as we don't take care of our liver can't make as much glutathione as it did when we were younger. So we want more glutathione. The problem is that glutathione hates water, so it doesn't like floating through our circulatory system. So we have to get it endogenously, and the only way to get 100% absorption is through an IV. But that's expensive, and you've got to puncture a hole in yourself. So instead, I know of two companies that have made a glutathione product that you can absorb. One of them is called Row. I've got a friend of mine who just tried it, and he's like, "God, it tastes like rotten eggs. It tastes like sulfur." And that makes sense because glutathione is three amino acids, and one of those amino acids has a sulfur group. So their product apparently is liposomal, but if your glutathione's wrapped in a liposome, it's not going to get to your taste buds. You're not going to taste it. So if it tastes super sulfury, that means it's not going to be absorbing. This product tastes delicious. I've I don't know how many packets I've given out. I've given out at work, at races. I take them all the time. Neighbors, I'm just like, hey, try this out. They're like, oh, I did this and I did this, or it's 2 o'clock. I'm feeling tired. I'm like, try this. And not a single person has been like, that kind of tastes like sulfur, which to me says, yeah, it's absorbing. Now, they've also done the studies. This one has like a 90% absorption. It has the epigenetics. We know that it's supporting mitochondrial health. We know it's supporting brain health. We know it's doing all the things from a science standpoint. Um, but anytime that I'm going to really push myself, I'm going to run further. I'm going to go to like an acrobat festival, and I know that I'm going to spend all weekend with people crawling on me, and I'm going to get some bruises. I've got a little bruise on my arm right now, if you can see it, but um, I definitely take more of the Eternal because it's supporting my body. It's giving me the glutathione, it's giving me collagen, it's giving me resveratrol, which is how wine got its claim to fame. Um, by the way, you've got to eat like 2.5 pounds of grapes to get an equivalent of resveratrol that's in this compound or in this little packet. Um, and one IV sitting costs more than a 30-day supply of Eternal. So to me, there's also like coenzyme Q10. I'm like, there's, I love this one. It tastes good. It's giving your body all the glutathione and all these other compounds, again, to support mitochondrial health. If you have trillions of cells in your body and every one of your cells can have anywhere from 10 to 50 mitochondria, th- that's a huge number, right? There's so many zeros there of how many mitochondria in your body, and they're like the brains. They're driving so much stuff that's going on. So to me, I think supporting your mitochondria is going to help you age better. It's going to help you heal faster. It's going to improve cognitive performance. It's going to help you PR. It's going to prevent you from getting hurt. It's going to do all these things because it's supporting the fundamental energy mechanism of your body, your mitochondria. So yeah,
So
this one's
good.
and it tastes good.
And it tastes grape Jolly Rancher is what it tastes like to me. So can't go wrong with that. But we would love to hear from Curtis.
Hey, you guys, Curtis Thornton here from Post Falls, Idaho. And if you don't know where that is, it's right next to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. If you don't know where that is, it's northern Idaho. First of all, Jeremy, Dr. Jeremy, thank you for all your knowledge here is absolutely blowing my mind. Um, the, the Eternal product for me really got my attention. I was diagnosed a couple years ago as a diabetic. And one of the things that I've done a lot of studying on is resveratrol and how it actually helps control blood sugar. And for me, it's been a life changer. I take 3 to 4 packets of this stuff a day. First of all, it cures any kind of sugary cravings you might have for sweets. Absolutely amazing tasting product, but it's really helped me really dial in my blood sugar levels and really help me try and maintain those levels. So I can't say enough about all the products, but this one right here, this Eternal product, is absolutely amazing. It's been like I said, a life changer for me. It's really helped me in my health journey. And all the mitochondria and stuff that you've talked about is above my pay grade, but I love learning about it. So anyhow, just thank you for having me on the call.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's awesome. And yeah, the diabetes things make sense because sugar enters your human cell and has to get processed before it can enter the mitochondria, where fats and lipids can almost directly go into the mitochondria. So a lot of insulin and glucose and diabetes definitely has this role where there's an inefficiency to take your food and put it into the mitochondria. which then taxes your mitochondria, and then you get extra inflammation, and then you start getting cells that die off, the neuropathy in your leg, stuff like that starts to happen. Um, but compounds like the pomegranate juice is consumed by your gut bacteria, and your gut bacteria produce a compound that goes back into your circulatory system, enters your mitochondria, and then helps your mitochondria with spring cleaning, which is mitigating the damage that was done from high sugar diets. Our bodies can handle quite a bit of sugar. We're pretty resilient, but 10, 15, 20 years of wear and tear, and eventually like you got to clean some stuff up. And so stuff like the pomegranate juice and other compounds that are in the Eternal really help drive that process. And yeah, yeah, I would happily take 5+ of these every single day. That I typically run out of this before anything else. It's delicious.
Gotta double your order. Double your
Yeah,
order.
yeah. It's just like, yeah,
Just
all the
keep it
time.
going. All right, I would like to introduce our last product. And as I mentioned, every product has a different delivery system. So this one is a packet of energy that also helps hydration and brain function. And really quick testimonial for this one, because this is our latest product. And it's that has none of that sugar you were just talking about, but it has also changed my life as much because I'm chronic headaches, and I have not had nary a headache since I started taking this every day, because it might be the hydration, it might be the L-theanine, it might be the caffeine. I don't care. I know it is working for me. I just know that as long as I'm sipping on this all day, I am good to go. So tell us a little bit more about the Kynetik, Dr. Sabo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start by saying, any of you know anybody that consumes an energy drink, please, please, please give them some Kynetik instead. Energy drinks are packed full of vitamin B that has a cyanide attached to it. 40% of our population can't convert folic acid into folate, one of the B vitamins. All carbonation, CO2, is a waste product. We literally breathe it out as a waste product. And beer is one thing, it's got a certain amount of carbonation, but the energy drinks are pumped full of even more. Then you get the artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners tell your taste buds sugar's on the way, and it never shows up. So like inflammation is bad because it makes communication hard. Artificial sweeteners are just fucking lying to you, right? So there's so many levels of bad stuff happening with these energy drinks, but people like to feel the energy. Kynetik has the B vitamins, it has the caffeine, it doesn't have the artificial stuff, it doesn't have the cyanide, and it has other plant compounds that actually give you energy, like the ginseng. And then there's compounds like the yerba sante that help with adrenal support, right? You're giving your body the ability to produce compounds, communicate with itself, so you feel the energy, but then you're not forcing the gas pedal down when your car's trying to stop because it's mad and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna drink another energy drink. Um, and then because it's a powder, you can dose it out. Some days I'm like, I'm just gonna have a half. You know, I've got stuff I'm gonna do later this evening. Other days I'm like, I'm taking 2 packs, right? Like this is just I've got an output today. Um, and I think it tastes good. So then, that's a plus as well. But yeah, again, it's a very clean energy drink, and things are put together in a way where it makes sense. Even the citric acid is a great preservative. But most citric acid is derived from mold. And granted, most of the mold isn't there anymore, but the extraction process is very expensive to make 100% clean. So there's usually mold, spores, and residual. There's an allowable amount in our food supply. The citric acid that's in this product is derived from citrus, right? That's limes and lemons or something else, but that's literally where they pull the citric acid from, is from the food source. So you don't have to worry about any of the mold or any of the other junk. So again, it's clean. If you need a little
Yeah.
pep, energy drinks are just so bad.
Yes.
So
Yes, they are. And also for me with my ADHD, it evens me out because that caffeine's so clean that it has been, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. So tell us, Kristen, about your game changer with Kynetik.
Hello, thank you for having me on today. My name is Kristen Ruby, and I'm coming in at you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I just wanted to kind of say the first time that I tried it, I really noticed that it helped with my brain fog. kind of cleared everything out, which I was really surprised with. And it gives me a lot of focus. It gives me, like throughout the day, things are going badly, take a Kynetik, everything's, I just kind of focus, get it done, and, no problem whatsoever. Thanks to Karen, a couple weeks ago in Vegas, I had this terrible headache. I have not had a headache in a long, long time. And she said, try the Kynetik, and it helped me within about 20 minutes. But I also have one funny story to tell you. I gave it to my coworker and he absolutely loved it, wanted to give it to his wife. So his wife decided that she wanted to try it, but she wanted to try it in the evening. He said, please do not try this tonight. And she says, I don't care, I'm trying it. So that night, she had so much energy, she stayed up all night and cleaned the house. The next morning, told her husband to tell me, I don't need that much energy, tell your friend. But now they've bought it and they absolutely love it and they're taking it at the right time. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you. That's awesome. I'm so glad it helped your headache. I'm telling you this, yeah, that happened to me this morning. I just was telling somebody and he said, just order it. He said, because his wife's suffering from migraines. And so I hope that it helps because everybody is different because everybody is different. So, Dr. Jeremy, I can't even tell you. I am so glad that these are recorded because I'm going to go back because this time of night, I can't multitask. So I'm going to go back and take notes because if I take notes, I would have forgotten to host. So thankfully the recording is available, but also for all of our guests and all of the people who were invited here tonight, if this is your first time, we're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. But this is something, when you hear something like this, we really just want to share. We want to know more. We want to learn more. We want to do more. So I encourage you very strongly to the cost is going to be retail or wholesale. Okay, so to get that wholesale price, talk to the person who invited you, but also talk to that person about how to share this with others, because when we share, we're sharing the health, but we also can make some money doing this. It's not a joke. So we have a community, we have a team, we have an amazing company that is providing these opportunities for us to share, because we're not in the big stores. Because if you walk into somewhere and you see a shelf full of stuff and supplements, you're not going to know what you have your hands on when you see 3 on a shelf. And so we are sharing because we do it all the time. We share movies, we share restaurants, we share, where we got our shoes, where we got our clothes. And so you're not going to check from them, but you can share this health, and it's just tell people what you have discovered and put your hands on. So tomorrow night at the same time, 9 o'clock, we're going to do a quick, not quite as long as tonight, because we're going to do a quick overview with a man who has been very, very successful in this industry. And he's going to share how to share to be able to at least, even if you just get your product for free, get what you want and get paid for it to make sure you're covering your product. There are simple ways, but there are people that are doing $50 a week. There are people who are doing $50,000 a week. So if you're open to that, please come and join us tomorrow night. Ask the person that invited you to come, and just so you can, just the passion that Dr. Jeremy shares. I love doing this with you, Dr. Jeremy. I just can't say thank you enough for being part of our team, for being available and willing to share with us this knowledge, and everybody who shared a testimonial. Kathy, Lindsay, Ray, Judy, Glenn, Curtis, Kristen, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sharing with us, and thank you for sharing your passion and your experience with these products, because we just need more people to know, because we are a young company, but we are a strong company, and we have our hands on something that can change just lives. So please share and get back with the person that invited you, and we will see you tomorrow night for a little bit of the business side of things. Dr. Jeremy, you want to close us?
I just want to say thank you for listening in. The stuff I'm sharing should be common knowledge. This should be in high schools. It should be a normal thing where people understand that food supports your body and you can combine foods together in certain ways. And I'm all for sharing recipes and ideas of how to put stuff together, but it's not always convenient. So to pair the convenience along the way of learning, I think is going to completely change the trajectory of health, especially in America and around the world, because I've been hearing a lot about how how we're kind of winning at the not healthiest group of people walking around on the globe. So I just want to change. I just want people to be healthier. And I just
Yes.
lucked out by studying it for 20 plus years. So
Yeah. And you know, and so if you know it and you believe it, then that is a huge, huge endorsement for what we have our hands on. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. And we, if you want the recording to go through it again, if you would like to share, you know, just get back with the person, and we'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same place. And we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you all. Good
Bye,
night.
everyone.
Good night.